if not many, many times, can be so ungrateful about our blessings because we're looking at the things that we don't have. And I think many cases the complaint is legitimate because we live in a fallen world and things are unpleasant and hurtful, and some things are on extreme levels of wrong, like oppression and abuse, and I know what that's like too. But even in that, even living an oppressed or abusive life or season or whatever, there's got to be something, even like a tiny little bit of something that is worth thanking God for, even in the midst of not really understanding. And that's really hard for a lot of people who live really in such darkness, even when they're trying their best. To believe me, there's Jobs out there. There's people out there living a Job life. If you don't know what I mean by Job, you will know as you keep reading this with me. You'll get to know that story. Maybe you can relate to it in some ways, but there are some people out there that have a whole life that's like Job, or have had a Job season, or maybe is in one or will go through one, and it's just completely undeserved or unfair, and it's just happening, and you can't stop it. It's just happening to you, and you just kind of have to put your chin up and your best foot forward and keep the faith and hope in God, and keep walking that narrow path and being your best person and not letting the circumstances or the situation change you for the worst. That's really hard to say. It's even harder to do, believe me. But I won't get into too much about that, except to say, just hang on to God. It's easier said than done, but it can be done. And it is in your best interest for yourself to choose God anyway, even if it seems like He's not hearing your prayers about your Job situation or whatever you might be going through. That's really legitimately tough. Just hang on, because He does hear. I just think in some cases you just don't really understand the whys of everything. And even in the Job story, it's not really explained why these things happened to him, He doesn't really get a real explanation, and we'll get into that later. But I think sometimes it's not about getting the why did this happen to me, or why are these people like this to me, or whatever. I don't think it's really about that. I think it's about what will you do in response. I think that's the more important question, is what will you do as a response, and not a reaction to it, but actually responding to it, or not responding sometimes. What are you going to let it help you become, better or worse?